I'd like to go ahead and, as chair this evening, get the meeting started.
Okay.
And welcome to the Office of Police Ombudsman Commission meeting for November 16th. We welcome to anybody who might be here from the public viewing or listening, I should say. And let's go ahead. Oh, let me do some brief introductions here before I forget that part. My name is Ladd Smith, current chair of the OPOC. The vice chair, Jenny Rose, is here as well. Commissioner Mr. James Wilburn is with us. And then from the OPO, the Office of Police Ombudsman, we have our Ombudsman, Mr. Bart Logue, Deputy Ombudsman, Ms. Luvi May Omana, and our field assistant, I don't know, I always get this title mixed up, but the important position of office
administrative specialist.
Thank you. Okay, I knew it was a well-deserved title. I just couldn't remember it. And Christina, Cody, glad to have you here as well. And I do not believe we have Mr. Luke Jasmine with us at the moment. We're hoping that he will come in as our fourth commissioner. And Lily Navarrado, our Navarrado, is not here. So that takes care of our introductions. Oh, and also, I do not believe we have legal counsel currently with us. Is that correct, Christina? Okay. Are we okay proceeding without that legal counsel? Okay, I don't think we need a motion for that, but we'll go ahead and proceed. And so agenda, we have an agenda before us. Please take a look at that, commissioners. If you are ready to approve the agenda, I would certainly welcome a motion.
I move to approve the agenda for tonight.
Second.
Thank you both. And all those in favor of this evening's agenda, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And next we have the October 19th minutes to approve. And hopefully you've got a copy of those minutes before you, and you've had a moment to take a look at those. And if you see anything that needs correcting or deleted or added, please indicate. Otherwise, I'm happy to take a motion to approve the minutes from October 19th.
So move.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor of approving the October 19th minutes indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. It's been approved. Welcome, Mr. Luke Jasmine. Glad to have you here. We're now with 4 commissioners, and we have already proceeded with items 1 through 3 on commission briefing session. We're now at the items, and item number 1 is public forum. Ms. Cody, do we have anyone who wishes to speak?
No one is signed up to speak tonight.
Okay, thank you. And that leads us to Mr. Logue for the OPO monthly report for October.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, commissioners. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We will just try to zip through this. It felt like October and up to this point, November just disappeared very quickly. It was very busy, but generally straightforward month. We had 3 complaints come in that we took, 2 referrals, and then 2 commendations. Right now, your report says there's 1 commendation, but there are 2 commendations, and we will make that change after this meeting. We did have 1 fairly public complaint that came in from a city council member regarding a leak of body-worn camera footage, and that's been forwarded to IAs, and that's all I'll say about that. There is a similar sort of thing that we're doing an interview with a complainant tomorrow. Should they not cancel? They've canceled in the past, so we'll see how that goes. Right now, we're going to do a joint intake with myself and Lieutenant Coles. Complaints are down for the year as compared to last year, with 28 compared to 45. But if you look at that big line in the middle in May or June, those were the complaints that came in after the May 31st protests in response to George Floyd's death. And so if you took out those numbers, our line is really pretty similar to the complaints that we were taking in last year. This month we had 173 contacts. We conducted 8 community member interviews. I attended, or Louvier attended 10 officer interviews with Internal Affairs. We had 28 other meetings or significant contacts with SPD. 12 of those were in-depth discussions with either investigators or Lieutenant Coles. We certified 2 cases in October, and we returned 1 for further investigation. A caseload was down a little bit, but that was because Lieutenant Coles was out on training or at other places, and he has promised me that those numbers will go up in November. So we'll deal with that as they come in. Training, we were still going through NACOL, finishing up NACOL virtual annual conference. Excuse me. The nice part about the virtual conference is that if you signed up for them, they are available through the end of December in case you missed any of the sessions that you wanted to see. Christina has put together a list to help us get in and see those things without a lot of effort. So they're still available if you want to watch some. I continue to work with NACOL on the Strategic Planning Committee, as well as the Member Development and Support Committee. We also attended in-service training with SPD. We were able to watch them train with their new pepperball deployment systems. It looks pretty similar to a paintball gun, but all the officers were able to work with that system. And Louvier may also continue working on the Criminal Justice Task Force. Outside of that, I was out of office actually for a few days. We had some family medical issues going on. And we had one complaint that actually ended up just taking an inordinate amount of time. We had some follow-up through the city clerk's office. We ended up writing a letter to city council. We had multiple phone calls with the OPOC actually in regards to this, also the complainant, as well as a civilian attorney. I believe we're going to talk about that a little bit more later, but that ended up just taking a lot more time than we usually spend. We also had a discussion with Jack Archer from SCAR, and I believe I mentioned this last time. They've given us the opportunity to write small articles for their blog if we're interested in that. This month got away from us, so we didn't end up writing anything from our office, but that's not just for us, that's for the commissioners as well. If there's a topic that you'd like to talk about and put out through SCAR's network, that is available. We actually had a community event, and that was the Faith in Blue event, which was held by the Public Safety Building. We had some administrative things that we were working on this month. We were working with Human Resources on some missing PARs. Thankfully, we have a pretty good tracking system in our office, so we were able to get those updated right away. So we are completely up to date. And it wasn't just us. There was over 600, I think, missing PARs that they couldn't account for citywide. Yes, ma'am.
that missing cards? CARDS?
Sorry, PAR, performance evaluations.
Oh, okay.
It's my
Thank you.
accent. I lived in the South and the Middle East, I think. Sorry.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. So that's done. We're caught up on that. We've also been working with a gentleman named Dave Steele from Facilities, and he is helping us put together a package to request for a closed off wall so that our conversations with complainants would no longer be listened to by everybody on the first floor. So we're about halfway through that. We've got a bid for the first part. And then I asked him, outside of that, I'd like to change out our, what are they called? They're not barricades, but
Partitions.
what-
Modular wall.
yeah, that really old modular wall that we have. They have other types of that displayed throughout City Hall. You can see it over in 311. There's some nice silver and blue ones. So I'd like to try to undo the eyesore in our corner. And Dave Steele is really helping us work on that to include an update with the carpet and everything. So I'll keep you informed as we find out more of that. I also updated my CJIS training. It's a biennial requirement having to do with criminal justice information and information systems. So that's done. We had the opportunity to meet with the new King County Office of Law Enforcement Oversight Director. His name is Tamer Abu Zaid, and he is coming to King County from Chicago. So he has quite a few stories regarding oversight and his work in Chicago. And this is his first month on the job in King County. So we'll meet him more as well. And we also mentioned it at the last meeting, but it did happen in October, so I'll say it again. We did meet with Representative Johnson via Zoom to talk about his efforts in regards to police reform. And I was mostly interested in finding out how existing oversight agencies fit into their overall picture. So more to follow on that, but I'm trying to make sure that they know that there is effort that already exists. So we're not just starting from scratch everywhere. And Spokane's fairly deep into it. And I know Seattle, they have 3 or 4 different agencies that are working on police oversight as well. So we had that opportunity. I thought that was really good. And then finally, with these closing reports this month, I know we got them to you late. I apologize for that. We had some scheduling difficulties with our final review of that, but that review was able to happen yesterday. And when I talk about the review, I'm talking about the with the police guild. There's a requirement to not necessarily gain their approval, but they get to review it before we publish. So that was accomplished yesterday, and we're satisfied with the drafts therein. And we also were, well, we'll talk about it in just a second in regards to the closing reports. So I'm not planning on working on closing reports this month. We're turning our attention to our annual report to see if we can get those things done in a much more timely fashion. I think last year we did pretty good. The year before we did not do so good. And this year I'd like to do great. So that's the monthly report, subject to your questions.
Okay, commissioners, any questions, clarifications? I'm just.
I did
Oh, go ahead.
have a question. Thank you for that report. Here, let me see here. Get back on. So I don't know if you could share anything more on Council Member Wilkerson's situation. What steps? What can the OPO do? And what are the next steps? I know you touched on it a little bit, but is there anything else you can go into more detail about that?
Probably not, sir, to be honest. She brought the concern to us. We've turned it over to internal affairs, and they'll begin their process of investigating that. We don't direct how they do that, but they keep us informed along the way, and we can ask questions as we go. But generally, we don't speak about the ongoing investigations. Just to say that we did receive it and we're moving forward with it.
Okay. Thanks for that. And
Sorry, if you'd like to know more about it, though, sir, you've signed a form and you can come into our office. We can have a meeting and talk about it.
okay.
But I can't do it in the public meeting.
Right. I get that. My second question is in regards to, I know the mayor's budget, she came out with a revised budget. And just where are we with the funding of the OPO, and what can we do? What are the next steps there?
Great question, sir. So the mayor comes out with, shoot, I just lost my computer. Are you still there, everybody?
Yes, we're here.
Okay, don't move the mouse. So the mayor comes out with her preliminary budget or finalized, but whatever she calls it, it's normal. It's their final proposed budget that the mayor then presents to city council. And then that begins a process of some back and forth between city council and the administration on what the final budget will look like. So the mayor puts her objectives in the budget, and then city council will put their objectives into the budget, and then they'll figure out how to make the lines work or the budget balance as best as they can. And that process is fairly robust from what I understand. I'm not a party to witness it, but they generally talk multiple times, and it takes sometimes through almost the end of December to get it done before the finalized budget's there. Our ordinance, I think Christina sent out a copy of it just after our last meeting. At the very end of our ordinance, it says that city council will provide adequate funding for the OPO and the OPOC. I don't have it pulled up in front of me today. So we get to stand on that line in our ordinance and ask our representatives to take our concerns into account. So we did a budget paper, which was submitted through the administration, which is where they always go. And I received just an email that our items were not included in the final proposed budget from the mayor. So if we would like to get those into the final budget, we really need to work with city council.
I did reach out to Hannah Lee Allers, who is Council President Begg's administrative legal aid, to find out where in the month of December or November is the final budget going to be voted on. And there's no ETA at this time. So I will keep you guys posted on that.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Jasmine, for your questions. Anyone else have a question or clarification? I do. Just back in the middle of your presentation, Mr. Logue, you mentioned something about Faith in Blue. Can you just give me a nutshell of what exactly that is?
No, I really can't. It's an event that's put on by the chaplains that work with SPD, and it's apparently something that happens nationwide that police chaplains put on. It's an outward facing event with the community. But as to the origins or much more about that, I just don't know. It was the first time I'd ever heard of it. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was worth attending. I was able to meet Commissioner Jasmine there. But outside of it just being an opportunity for them to invite the community to come in and talk with some officers and look at some of their stuff and that sort of thing, I don't have any other details regarding that, sir.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, moving on to OPO closing reports, Mr. Logue and or Ms. Alana.
Okay, I was scrambling to try to get this because I was generous and told Louie May I'd brief one, which is why I don't have a tie on. So I apologize for that. But the first report that I'll talk about is C21002. And this case was, we chose this case to highlight some of SPD's analysis and critical examination of an officer's response to domestic violence calls. And I think you've heard me over and over talk about we want them to have more critical input and that stuff. In this case, if you looked at it, you would find that that actually existed, and they did a pretty robust job on talking about this case. So what happened was after an officer goes to a domestic violence call, they'll put in their police report, and that will go to the domestic violence unit, and they will review all of the domestic violence reports and see if what follow-up is needed, and they'll help with the charges, any charges if any are going to happen regarding any domestic violence case. So they actually specialize in that. And so this actually came to our attention because during that review, a sergeant in the DV unit noticed some irregularities and looked at it a little bit closer, and then decided that it rated a conversation with the officer sergeant and then lieutenant who discussed it, and then decided it really needed to go to internal affairs. So this was an internally generated complaint. The DV incident there was actually two that were reviewed prior to sending it to IA, and they were in January on the 5th and the 14th. And IA conducted its investigation and sent it to the ARP, which is Administrative Review Panel, on May 18th. So we thought we would try to find out some details, explain some processes a little bit more. But let me go through this just with a little bit more detail. So between incident 1 and incident 2, there were 9 days between those two. One of the things we wanted to highlight was that the officer sergeant actually had taken some time to provide some mentorship regarding proper response to domestic violence calls. And it actually even assigned the officer involved to ride along with officers in the DV section for a couple of days to just get some focused training on that. So, and that's really what we want, right? We want our supervisors to notice things and adjust them before they become real problems. And that's just a great example of them really following through to up the standards with that officer. So the first incident, the real incident that kind of brought this all together was they went to a scene, and obviously there's two parties involved in a domestic violence situation. But in this case, there were also two witnesses. So officers will generally never go to a domestic violence or a domestic situation by themselves, as there's multiple parties, and it's easier to separate them. So one officer will take one party off to a side, another one will take another one off to a side, so that they can get their stories separately. And then they'll come together after that and try to put the details together and decide and see what other questions they need to ask to find out what happened that day and whether or not probable cause is established for an arrest. So in this day, they separated. One officer went with, we'll say victim, for lack of it was the victim. And the other one went with what ended up being the suspect in this case. So they separated them, and one was outside and one was inside. So they were actually separated quite a bit. But there were witnesses kind of hanging around with the suspect in this case. And if there's witnesses, you want to separate them as well, because we don't want to contaminate what their story is going to be. If they hear what the suspect is saying, yeah, it happened exactly like he said, or something like that. We want to get their own details from their own mind, not just a regurgitation of what they just heard somebody else say. So that was one of the first things that didn't go right in this case. The witnesses were not separated from the suspect. And the interview was kind of conducted, they were all together. After the first interview was done with the suspect and the first interview was done with the victim, the officers came together like they would normally do. But in this case, they didn't come together outside of earshot of the suspect or the witnesses. So everything was kind of talked about in a group, which kind of hurts the case quite a bit. So there was some back and forth and some re-interviews. A corporal came out to the scene to take some pictures. And if there's ever injuries or damage, they'll call one of their corporals out, and you'll almost always see a corporal with a camera, and they're the ones that take all the photos. And but they're also senior, generally senior, certainly by rank, not necessarily by how long they've been a police officer. But in this case, they're looked at for advice. And there was a conversation regarding whether or not there was probable cause to arrest the suspect with the corporal. End of the day, Washington State has a mandatory arrest for domestic violence cases. And in this case, with some back and forth, they decided not to arrest the suspect for that domestic violence charge that night, but they did arrest him for a warrant stemming from a previous domestic violence situation. So, end of the day, the first thing that they looked at as a concern was whether or not there should have been an arrest that night because of the mandates put out by Washington State. So they looked at the officer for inadequate response that way. But then when they watched the body camera footage, they noticed some demeanor issues and some language issues with one of the officers. So they added that, and they added the demeanor portion to this complaint. And then finally, when the ARP looked at the case, they brought back, there was a statement made in there regarding from a witness, and I'm gonna miss it. Where the officer put in the report that witness 2 overheard the victim say, "You're not effing leaving, you're not leaving," which was enough for the officer to change their mind. But when they reviewed the case, they realized that that statement actually did not come from that particular witness. So they looked at it from whether or not that was a false statement or not. So after the ARP looked at it, actually went back to internal affairs to do a second interview. And that's kind of how this case went. So there was a lot of scrutiny applied to there. But one of the reasons why this case is, or this report is a little thicker, is that when we're going through it, there is some particular language that was put in the IA additional from the DV sergeant. And it's the line that I just want to highlight, not to embarrass an officer or anything, but because of what our recommendation turned out to be, was that Officer B had badmouthed the victim with the suspect, which goes away, excuse me, which goes against all the teaching they do on trauma-informed interviewing. So we had an opportunity to talk with a couple of officers about what they knew. And this is not part of the investigation. This is just the OPO kind of working about what they knew about trauma-informed interviewing. And it was nothing. It was very little. Neither officer that we talked to had been trained in trauma-informed interviewing. And one of them actually went to Google to see what it was. in regards to that. So we felt that if an officer is going to be have the standard of what's taught in trauma-informed interviewing, they should be taught it. So our recommendation that we came out of this case actually comes as a recommendation for the chief to include trauma-informed interviewing in the next in-service or whatever the best training opportunity he has to ensure that all officers are given the chance to learn trauma-informed interviewing. And I'll just kind of read you a couple of things so I won't belabor this. It's all inside of this case, but I went and did some research and came up with a document from the IACP, which is the International Association of Chiefs of Police, in regards to successful trauma-informed interviewing. So it's not something that's unique. It's something that is taught and embraced by the International Association of Chiefs of Police, which is really kind of the gold standard, if you will, for police department policies, which is why we try to attend their conference each year to find out what is the latest take on policing from that body. So they just wanted to highlight is that it can be necessary for officers or really anyone in the criminal justice system to have to come into contact with a victim and ask them questions that victims will find difficult to answer. So it's about how to do that in a way where the victim does not perceive that they're being blamed for what happened. And that's it in a nutshell. There's a lot more to it. But we added the paper from the IACP as an appendix, and it's going to look something like that, but then it's the last page of it's and this is in the packet, it's in the agenda packet, so you'll be able to look at it closer, but there's a do's and a don'ts. So instead of asking a question a certain way, try it in a different way. And there's 4 or 5 pages inside of that, which provides the rationale as to why it would be better to question somebody that's been a victim of trauma in a certain way, to get not only the most information from them that you can, but to also treat them respectfully. So we added that recommendation yesterday after we finished our research on trauma-informed interviewing. So that's the first case. Are there any questions on that case? Then
Okay,
I'll
so
turn it over to Luby May.
I have the second case, and this one is F21004. Before I get into the brief, I do want to note, because I know that you will be approving our recommendations, and this shouldn't impact that, but the policy that's in the report is listed as 301.14.13 on page 7. And it should say 301.15.3. It's the same policy, just the number got jumbled. So we'll make that change after the meeting tonight before we send out the final. So this case came to our attention through the Use of Force Review Board. It involves an officer placing their knee on a person's head, neck area. And this is what the department considers an exceptional technique. After the department made changes to its policy post George Floyd. We chose to write a closing report on this case for a couple of reasons. One, to illustrate to the community the changes to state law and department policy following George Floyd. And then second, the lieutenant identifies an allegation here, which is the exceptional technique that the community would probably look upon disfavorably, given the changes in law and policy. And since a formal internal affairs complaint was not created based on the allegation identified, there's no resolution to the allegation that was identified. So let me get into it and talk about the details so you understand more what I just said. So for incident summary, officers responded to a domestic violence call on January 1st, 2021. So a good few months after the George Floyd stuff happened. Officers tried to detain the subject, but they were not being compliant. The officers gave really good verbal commands to the subject, but the subject insisted on trying to get inside a van and leave. Officers then took the subject to the ground, where one officer placed their knee on the subject's head neck area for approximately 24 seconds. During this time, the subject said twice, quote, "I'm gonna die," and later complained that the officers popped the subject's right arm out of place. In the supervisory review, the sergeant recommended that this be in policy. The lieutenant agreed with the policy, with being in policy for the techniques that triggered the use of force, which is mainly control tactics. However, the lieutenant did say that, or identified those issues with using the knee to the head neck area. The lieutenant continued in their analysis and said that the officer's demeanor was controlled and poised, but the exceptional technique was not justified in this situation. The lieutenant spoke with the officer about this incident after this review. Then the next person in the chain of command is the captain, and the captain said that the lieutenant already addressed the exceptional technique as out of policy, and then the major had similar comments to the captain in reference to the exceptional technique. The exceptional technique, or the allegation of the exceptional technique, was not handled outside of that lieutenant's use of force review. It wasn't forwarded to internal affairs for an investigation under the SPD policy 301.15.3 called supervisor reporting, which requires the supervisor to initiate an internal affairs complaint if they see something that is potentially rises to the level of misconduct. And this is a similar issue that we had already identified in a previous closing report that we had done. It's the closing report C19040. In recommendation number 9, the OPO recommended the allegations of misconduct against an officer should be clearly defined at the beginning of the investigation and then document as the investigation goes along if the allegations are modified and for what reason. And so in this report, we had one recommendation, and it's R21-16, and we say that we recommend SPD train its supervisors to getting in the habit of initiating IA complaints when they identify potential policy violations, and then, like I just mentioned, clearly define those allegations being reviewed as previously recommended in C19040 recommendation 9. So that is just like a brief on that. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
I would just like to add one piece to that. You may recall that this was something that was a significant issue at one point as we were looking at that previous case. Because SPD was also right around that same time revising their policy in regards to use of force. And we identified that they had removed that requirement of if a supervisor feels something is outside of policy, that they were required to send it to internal affairs. So we pushed back on that, and there was a lot of pushback from SPD in regards to embarrassment in regards to that, and we were able to get that portion of the policy placed back into policy as it should be. Because the previous case, they were trying to say that it was properly investigated when their own policy said that it was not, because it was only reviewed by the chain of command instead of investigated by internal affairs. So that was a big issue at that point. It made a lot of newspapers and some back and forth. So we kind of have a similar thing. Not that there's this pushback from SPD on it, but we want to continue to highlight that that is the policy. If you identify it, have it looked at. If somebody in the chain of command thinks something's outside of policy, it's a best case scenario for them to look at it closely, even if it's finally decided that no, it is in policy, right? Because that covers the officer and that covers the department, instead of now not really having something that was identified as potentially being out of policy investigated appropriately. That doesn't help the officer, and that does not help the department. So I just wanted to reiterate that that was a very significant concern on a similar matter previously. Thank you.
I have a question, Mr. Chair. Louis May, you said the officer's knee on the head and neck area was reported as an allegation.
So it was identified by the lieutenant as potential misconduct.
So it was more than an allegation. It was a fact that it was reported as was.
Well, the lieutenant, people in the chain of command, they identify the issues and come up with a recommended finding. And then it's up to the chief or assistant chief to make that determination. And in this case, the lieutenant identified, in their opinion, they thought it was not warranted to use that technique in this instance.
It seems to me that the de-escalation policy was violated as well. Because if he can put his knee on his head and neck, that means that the suspect was already down. I guess I can call him a suspect. I don't know what happened for that to be taking place, but he was already down and subdued. Why the knee on the neck and head?
So I think in this one, I think for de-escalation, they say if possible. In this one, they were, the guy was trying to run away into a van to get away. And so they were giving him verbal commands to, like let go of the car. And then if they gave him some chances to comply. And they said, if you don't let go of the vehicle, like we will take you to the ground. And it was after they had already taken him to the ground where the knee was applied to the head neck area. And in the lieutenant's report, they say that when they spoke with the officer, they didn't even recall doing that, and that the officer probably just regressed to previous training. So they were already in the process of going hands-on with the subject, and it was just something that was identified after the fact on body camera.
And what we would have wanted to see was that knee being on the back or the shoulder blade. And that is a change in policy, actually policy and in law now, right? With all the different reforms that have come out. So we did do some checking into their de-escalation, or not de-escalation, you got me confused. Their
Defensive tactics.
Thank you. Defensive tactics manual. And we were able to see that they had, in fact, updated their policy manual after George Floyd's death, and removing that from a common practice and changing it to an exceptional technique. And then I also think it's fair for me to say that I know this commission knows that I'm not a fan of exceptional techniques. I'm just not. I understand why they are, but I prefer that we set parameters for what we say is proper and what we say is not, and get rid of as much gray area as we can in regards to what can be done in the meantime. It's not unheard of for officers in a stressful situation to revert back to old training and old practices, which is, I'll just say, a potential reason why this occurred, but we won't know because it wasn't properly sent over to internal affairs and investigated prior to it coming to a finding. So we really wanted to highlight that if any supervisor says something's out of policy, it needs to go and be thoroughly investigated. So then we'll know those answers.
Okay, any other questions, clarifications? I just have one question in general. If our commission decides to approve these recommendations to be sent to IA or to the chief, is that right? Okay, and the chief either can accept the recommendations and implement them in policy or in training reviews, or the chief can discard the recommendation as something that. So I guess what I'm asking is, what do we find out in the end after the recommendation has been sent? Do we keep track of whether it was accepted and implemented or rejected?
We, excuse me, we actually do. We'll put that in our annual report, the recommendations that we sent through this year, and then we'll sometimes, if we haven't seen movement on the ones that we put out the previous year, we'll provide updates.
Mhm.
So it's easy to say, yeah, we agree, and then do nothing, right? So as you'll notice, probably 4 or 5 of these recommendations, which we put out in these new closing reports, are eerily similar to recommendations we put out last year. So we do that because we're not seeing the movement. So we saw the heads nod, but we haven't seen the movement yet. And we think it's important, and it will be helpful for the police department if they followed through on those recommendations. But yeah, we can highlight it in our annual report, and then we can brief that to city council. But other than that, you know, they're just recommendations. The chief can do with them what he will.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that reminder. I just needed that reminder and clarification. Any other questions, clarifications before we move on to commission business? Okay, moving on to commission business. Here we are, number 1, with the OPO recommendations that we just had presented to us. And we've had discussion, last call for discussion on this. And what we're looking for now is a motion to approve each of the recommendations. Let's go ahead and start with F21004. Any, if I can get a motion for that?
I so move.
Need a second?
Mr. Wilburn, you're on mute.
Sorry. Okay. I don't have it in my head as to what that was. Can it be explained briefly?
Regarding recommendation F21-004?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the one that I just did, and the recommendation is for the department to get the supervisors to be in the habit of initiating an internal affairs complaint when they identify a potential policy violation. So in this case, the lieutenant identified the exceptional technique, the use of the knee on the head neck area, but it wasn't forwarded for an investigation. So we want them to go ahead and forward it when they see instances like this. And then part of what happened is the allegation dropped off. The captain in their review said, oh, the lieutenant already handled it. And then the major said, oh yeah, I agree that they already handled it, but nothing happened to it. So the other half of the recommendation is when they're doing an investigation to clearly define those allegations that are being reviewed. And then if for some reason someone says, oh, I don't think that we need to look at that, or we need to add on, to list why they're adding or removing the allegations.
I second Commissioner Rose' motion, Brother Chair.
Okay, the motion has been seconded. We're gonna go ahead, excuse me, and vote on that. All those in favor of recommendation F21-004 being forwarded to Chief Meidel, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and that passed. I heard, I think it's unanimous. The second recommendation is C21-002. I would entertain a motion to forward this. Mr. Logue?
Sir, I'll just read that again real fast.
Okay, you bet.
The recommendation states, as officers regularly respond to traumatic events, I recommend SPD provide trauma-informed interview training to all officers in an appropriate upcoming training event.
Okay, thank you for that summary.
So move.
Yeah, I would definitely second that.
Okay. Okay, those all in favor of forwarding recommendation C21-002 to Chief Meidel, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and that passed unanimously. So we have these two recommendations that will be forwarded. Thank you, Mr. Logue and Ms. Omana for the presentations and the thorough look into this, and then able to articulate to us exactly what it is that we're hoping will be accepted. So that leads us to commission business number 2. Hard to believe, here we are in November of 2021 with the year 2022 around the corner, which of course means that we are up for chair and vice chair elections for the upcoming year. I will say I was honored and excited to serve as chair. It was a little bumpy at times, and for personal reasons, and I thank everyone who supported me during those times. And so I'm going to happily relinquish my title and go to a commissioner only basis. So nominations are open, and volunteers are always appreciated. Commissioner Rose, yes, ma'am.
Yes, I would like to nominate Commissioner Luke Jasmine as chair for 2022.
Okay.
I second.
I third it. So
Hold on, what's the discussion? There's a discussion part, right?
now,
I
yeah.
just nominated you, Luke, for chair of next year.
Now I'm trying to remember protocol here. So the nomination is out there, and Mr. Jasmine already indicated. Is this where we do have a conversation about that?
Yes, and you can ask for more nominations too,
That's
Commissioner
true
Smith,
too. Yeah.
for chair. So
Yes. So either Ms. Commissioner Rose or Commissioner Wilburn, how you can nominate yourselves, right?
yes,
Okay. And I'm listening carefully, and I'm not hearing. Did you raise your hand, Commissioner Rose?
no,
No, you did not. Okay, I thought I saw a hand move.
But I did have a question
Yes, sir. Yes.
uh, for Commissioner Wilburn.
Mhm.
You know, you've been part of this a long time in a very large capacity. I'm wondering why the chair isn't you in this particular juncture.
Well, I got too many things going on. My wife, and it would just be difficult for me to keep up with the, chairing the commission, and taking care of my business here at the house.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, I move that the nomination be closed with the one name given.
Okay, we still need to, but and for anyone who wants to be chair, I just want to iterate here that you will be guided and you will be, especially if you're new at it, you will have the most awesome team at the OPO who will happily and gladly and skillfully help you through the learning curve. So just know that is always an important part of taking on the capacity of chair or vice chair for that matter. So I believe we have to vote one position at a time. Is that right?
Well, you need to see if Commissioner Jasmine wants to accept the
That's-
nomination.
That is true. That would be helpful. So, Mr. Commissioner Jasmine, we've had conversations. You've asked a pertinent question. Are there any other wonderings about this, you being nominated? Is there anything you want to ask or discuss?
No, and I had some time to really think. I knew this was coming as far as um, type of scenario, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do. And I know there's a lot I need to learn, so I'm gonna hold y'all to
Mm-hmm.
be along that way. So
Yeah. Commissioner Jasmine, personally speaking, I appreciate your willingness to serve, and I will certainly do all I can, and I know everyone else will as well. So that, not hearing from the other two commissioners, I've already stated my intentions. It looks like we have on the table here Commissioner Luke Jasmine, who is accepting the nomination to be chair. And do I need, I just made the motion, I guess, and can I do that as chair, make that a motion? Okay, and then I need a second. Oh, I
I'll
think,
second.
okay, thank you. I thought Mr. Wilburn, I just remembered he spoke up too.
There
Yeah,
was
he
a
did.
motion on the floor.
Okay,
Yeah.
so anyway, I think we're safe to go to the vote. All those in favor of accepting the nomination of Commissioner Jasmine Luke, Luke Jasmine as the 2022 chair, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Um,
Congratulations, future chair Luke Jasmine. Very exciting. Okay. So that course, yes, absolutely. Really, thank you so much. That leaves the next position, which is vice chair, and that is open for nominations. And I'm going to decline nominating myself for that. I would prefer to remain or to go back as a commissioner status. That leaves, yes, Commissioner Rose.
I would be happy to stay on as vice chair to help Commissioner Jasmine in his new role.
Okay. And any other self nominations or nominations for, okay. So was that a motion basically? Or I will just make a,
I was nominating myself.
okay, so I need a motion that Commissioner Rose become vice chair for 2022?
So moved.
Okay. Second?
I second.
Very good. All those in favor of Commissioner Rose remaining or maintaining her title as vice chair for the 2022 calendar year indicate by saying aye.
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 Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Commissioner Rose.
Thank you, Commissioner
You're
Rose.
welcome. Thank you.
Yep. And I'm really excited for the upcoming year, and I can't wait for more of the for some great teamwork. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, and next on our list here is the OPOC Legal Counsel update. The latest I have heard from the OPO office staff is that we have had 0 inquiries into the position of OPOC legal counsel update or a legal counsel. So I guess we may need to go back to the drawing board and maybe rethink how we're advertising it or rework the inner language of the potential contract for this position. Any thoughts out there on how we should proceed?
Mr. Chair, I think it would be a good idea if we put an ad out for a council in both of the papers, the Review, the Spokesman Review, and the Black Lens, in search of an attorney.
Okay, I think up until this point, we have utilized a fee-free way of advertising for this. Is that right, Ms. Cody? Okay. And budget-wise, I'm thinking I'm getting a thumbs up that we could afford that. That would certainly broaden the opportunity for others to vie for that position, and love the idea of the spokesman and the Black Lens. And so do I need to make a motion on that, or can I just can be a directive basically to pursue that? Ms. Cody, is that something that you can work on when you at your next available time slot?
I will start looking at that tomorrow.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so hopefully we'll get some movement there.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Can we also just reach out to the city legal department to find out if there's any other possible way to advertise that? They're able to find attorneys all over the place for all kinds of reasons. So I think we could really, if we get them to assist us, it would be good for them and good for us.
I
This is
will.
Tim,
Yes.
Oh,
Tim
hi.
Zamblin. We can work with the city legal, can work with Christina, and not only doing the Spokane Bar Association, but maybe even looking out to the Washington State Bar Association. They do have a advertisement in their monthly periodical that advertises some legal positions. So that might be another option. And I'm happy to stay on and assist as long as necessary until you get the right legal counsel to support the commission.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, sir, for that. Okay, so Christine, you've got excuse me, a little extra support there.
Yep.
Okay. Now comes the commissioner speak out, and
Oh, there's one in between that.
oh, I apologize. Yeah, Commissioner Rose. Yes, there is an entry there for a community member concern. Pardon me. Commissioner Rose.
You're on mute, Commissioner Rose.
Am I on?
There you
Whoops. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. Sorry, I lost the picture because I was looking for something. Okay, I'm going to be very factual about this because we are in a public meeting. We do have a community member, and let's see, I've been on the commission over 6 years now, just finished my 6th year in September. So I've known this person since the beginning. She is a very concerned community member, and she had an incident happen where she, through her attorney, contacted Mr. Logue. And Mr. Logue, please feel free to jump in. I'm going to be very quick about this. But as Mr. Logue mentioned this earlier, this particular community member takes a lot of time from our OPO. And also, I just happened one day to get a phone call, and I don't even know, I think it came from the city, where this particular person had contacted the city trying to get a hold of Mr. Logue. She, how do I say this? Her timeline is very short, and she likes a response as soon as possible. And if she doesn't get it, I'll just say it's a she. If she doesn't get it, and then she'll move on and move up the ladder until she gets somebody to talk to. Well, I happened to get a phone call at my home. Oh gosh, I want to say August, September. And I don't know how the city even got a hold of me, but they did. And then they switched me over to talk to this particular person who I've talked to before. And she was trying to get a hold of Mr. Logue. And I said, well, you know what? After an hour and a half, I will get a hold of him for you and see what's going on. Mr. Logue happened actually to be on vacation. So I was a little hesitant to contact him, but I did. And then I got back to her and said that, you know, he will be getting a hold of her. Well, meanwhile, she's working through an attorney. So now we have the attorney and her trying to get a hold of Mr. Logue. And it was very confusing to me on what she really wanted. But she just likes to keep going on and on and on. And I understand she has concerns and she wants them to be met. However, there is only so much that the OPO office can do. And in her mind, the OPO office can do a lot more. And I totally get that. But Mr. Logue and Miss Lamanna and Miss Cody, they have a lot of other things going on. So this particular complaint has gone on for quite a few months now, I'll be honest with you. And I shouldn't say we, either Commissioner Smith or myself will be signing a letter, and basically it's a certification of a case, and this will go to her and basically say we can't do any more. We can't do any more. Everything was followed. It was investigated. By the way, this started in May, so I'll just be honest with you, and now it's November. So it's just kind of one thing after another that has been going on. And I'm sorry to say, she keeps wanting the OPO and actually Mr. Logue to keep working on this particular case. But there's only so much that we can do as an entity within the range. And so a closing letter will be sent. And basically say, you know, your complaint is closed. If you need more information, you need to, you know, go to this entity or this entity. Actually, one of them is the city clerk's office. So I just wanted you guys to be aware of that. And I don't know, she might reach out and try to contact you also. So, and if you'd like to have more information, I know Mr. Logue would be happy to sit down with you and go over the actual complaint with you not in a public meeting. So any questions, Sorry, I was really trying to be pretty vague there.
But I'd just like to add that we definitely want to help.
Yes.
We definitely want to help. And because of that, this was the case I was talking about before. We worked with the city clerk's office. We worked with SPD's public records department. We had a closing meeting with the person. Internal Affairs came over and had a closing meeting. I've gone back to Lieutenant Cole multiple times to try to clarify a thing. I've ensured that they received the body camera footage that they had not received via public records request. I've sent a pretty long email to City Council regarding why she even came to our attention to begin with, and provided them a copy of King County's nuisance property ordinance for City Council's consideration. Believe me, if I could give ourselves, the OPO, more authority and wiggle room for our duties, I would do that. But we have to work through what the ordinance says. We can do customer service. I just can't make the City Council publish or make a law. I can't undo something that was done. So our ordinance doesn't actually even cover those sorts of things. It kind of puts us in the lane of certifying investigations as timely, thorough, and objective. And we've done that, and we've double checked it, we've triple checked it, and we've quadruple checked it. There's nothing more to check. So I would say that it's when we received the written complaint, and not her thing, but in regards to what the OPO has accomplished, it was disheartening because we definitely did our best to try and help. So I just want the commission to know that, but I appreciate your support. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Logue, I think you went way above the protocol here. I mean, customer service, 110%. And like you said, there's only so much you can do. And I think in this case, I don't know what else you could have done. And your time is valuable. Ms. Lamanna's time is valuable. And I'm not saying that it's not worth the time, but I think when you get to a point where you just can't go anymore, and yet this person is still pressing on you, you know, still calling you. And, you know, I told her, do not, you know, you don't call somebody's cell phone. You know, I've had at least 2 conversations with her over an hour and a half each. So just trying to get that across. So, but thank you. Thank you all for really trying on this one.
Okay, well, yeah, thank you for that update. And Vaughn, at this point.
I can add one
Oh,
thing,
I'm sorry.
sir.
Yes.
So your email came in after I had corresponded with Commissioner Rose.
Yes.
So Commissioner Smith said that he would be good with Commissioner Rose signing the letter. So we'll prepare that for a digital signature. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Next is Commissioner Speak Out. And I'll go ahead and start since I'm already talking. And you know, I think it has to do with one of the sessions, NACOL sessions. And I think it's a issue I first made, caught my attention back in Austin, Texas, March of 2020, is the idea of burnout. And I think it's a real, when it was discussed in Austin, I realized, wow, there really is, they're probably pretty rampant in this line of work. And because the work can be so time consuming, and sometimes you get so little from it. The movement is incremental, and and can be frustrating when you have obstacles and you have people who want to work against what you're doing, and it can get to you sometimes. But you know, I listen to these reports and recommendations, which I find really fascinating and I find really informative, and I find that it helps to really, in my mind, create a visual and really begin to understand the inner workings and when I have those moments of feeling like, are we getting anywhere? I really appreciate the work that goes into these recommendations and the detail, and it excites me as an individual commissioner, and it gives me great hope when you are able to articulate something so well, and with the hopes that it will get into the policy book or the trainings, and so I guess it's a big thank you to the office for the three of you who work so hard on this. That is my 2 cents for the evening. Anyone else? Commissioner Rose.
I'd like to say thank you to Commissioner Smith for chairing this year. And as you said earlier, it wasn't the easiest year for you. You had a lot of challenges, but boy, I sure do appreciate you. And I am glad you were staying on as a commissioner. I really am. And I'm excited, really excited for Commissioner Jasmine, because when you get right in that front seat and start going, you are going to learn so much. I'm really, really excited for you. And I'm just really looking forward to 2022 and being with everybody. And I hope at some point we can be together in person, because I think that just makes a world of difference when we can see each other in person and have our meetings in person and have our trainings in person. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Okay, I believe that Commissioner Wilburn may have gone to the to Rite Aid, so I don't hear him or see his name. And Commissioner Jasmine, anything you want to say before we part ways? We are going to talk about the December meeting, of course.
No, just that I appreciate the group, and I look forward to entering 2022 and see what we can do.
All right. Okay, thank you. And last, our December meeting, I believe the latest is perhaps not having a December meeting, and was I think due to a variety of reasons. Obviously, number one, being a very busy time for everyone during that time of year, and I'm actually not recalling the exact reason why we were going to cancel that. I think it might be a conflict or different trainings or things going on. Mr. Lowe, can you help me out on this one?
I won't be available.
Okay.
I've had some vacation approved. I'll be in Europe.
Okay. Good reason not to meet.
Didn't really want to throw that out there, but
You did anyway. You just had to.
I want to go.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I don't remember ever having really a December meeting,
Okay.
just for the fact that it's a busy time, and we only need to have one meeting every quarter.
Quarterly,
I can't
right,
remember.
right.
I mean, we have a lot more meetings than that, so and it's usually pretty quiet around that time. So and so I'm fine with not having a December meeting.
Yeah, and I'm also fine with that. Commissioner Jasmine, how about you?
Yeah, I'll echo the same.
Okay,
Thoughts as a group.
okay. And don't remember if I need to have a motion for that, and I do. Okay, so if I could get a motion that will officially remove any kind of a meeting in December, I would be willing to entertain that motion.
I so move that we do not have a meeting in December and move right to January 18th would be our next meeting.
Get a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, the motion is to not have a December 2021 meeting, and our next meeting would be January 18th, 2022. All those in favor of a meeting then, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. Okay. We will meet again in 2022. And if it's too early, wish everyone a very, very happy Thanksgiving and a happy holiday, Christmas and New Year's and Kwanzaa and all those wonderful things that happen. And somehow maybe we can stay in contact and in touch. It just seems so far away, doesn't it? 2 months from now. My heart is getting lonely. But and yes, Mr. Logue.
Thank you, sir. I just would like to remind commissioners that our next meeting will be after when the budget is finalized. So if you want action on the budget, please don't forget to reach out to your city council members.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so that adjourns the meeting for this evening. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and onward we go. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thanks all.
Okay, thank you.